Hey, my name is Chris, and I'm a registered dental hygienist, and I've been practicing for 10 years in dentistry. When I came into dentistry, my big passion for impact was to turn these scientific concepts of oral health and make them digestible for the general public so that it felt very conversational and you could really understand what's happening and better get to the best oral health that you can have. So I'm excited to partner with Ali and today talk about understanding tooth sensitivity and how hydroxyapatite helps. So firstly, when we talk about sensitivity, you need to understand the general anatomy of a tooth. There are three main layers that you should know of. One is obviously your enamel layer. That's the outermost layer that protects your tooth. Beneath that is the dentin layer. That layer is softer than the enamel. And then beyond that, at the very center, is what's called your pulp chamber, which is where the nerve of your tooth lives. On that dentin layer, beneath the enamel, are something called microtubules. Think of this like little pores that exist and travel from the outermost layer of your tooth all the way to your nerve. Those tiny channels are responsible for allowing stimuli to travel down the tubule to your nerve so that you can feel hot, cold, or anything that might affect the nerve of your tooth, or any sensation that might stimulate your tooth. There are a few common causes that expose your microtubules and create hypersensitivity. One is gum recession. This is when your gum tissue begins to push either away from or either push up or down, depending on which arch you're referencing, to expose the dentin layer that covers your root. Remember, I told you that the dentin layer is softer than the enamel. So hence, more exposure of the dentin, more exposure of those microtubules, more sensitivity. Number two is enamel erosion. Enamel erosion can come from things like acidic foods, sodas, citrus, and sports drinks. Number three is something that all hygienists always educate patients to do, which is to not brush hard. Aggressive brushing will cause you to either push your gums back, can cause recession, which will result in sensitivity a lot of times, which can also be an abrasive action that can cause tooth wear. So essentially what happens is brushing too hard can wear down your enamel and start to expose that dentin layer and lead to sensitivity. Number four, whitening procedures and some dental treatments can also cause overexposure of your dentin. Obviously, if you're going through getting cavities filled or root canals and things of that such, there is a process of removing tooth structure that can cause sensitivity. Understanding sensitivity a little further, when you think about the microtubules and that being the channel that essentially allows the stimuli to travel down and affect the nerve, that is what you want to envision whenever you feel something, an ache or a twinge, or something that's affecting your nerve. More often than not, it is going to be related to those microtubules either being exposed or too much stimuli being able to travel down to the nerve. Hot, cold, sweet, sour. Now let's talk about how traditional sensitivity toothpaste works. In most traditional sensitivity toothpaste, the primary active ingredient is potassium nitrate. For that mechanism of action, or how it actually works, the potassium ions travel through the dentinal tubules. They reach the nerve in the tooth and they reduce the nerve's ability to transmit pain signals. And that approach focuses on dulling or calming the nerve. It does not actually repair or close the tubules. And where that can be limiting is that's a temporary solution. We call that symptom management, which then makes you dependent on continuous use in order to not experience sensitivity. And that's not the goal. Overexposure of the tubules is the issue. So blocking it out and not actually fixing the problem is not the way to go, because then that means the tubules remain open. So here's how hydroxyapatite addresses the root cause. Hydroxyapatite is a mineral naturally found in the tooth enamel and dentin. What happens when you introduce hydroxyapatite is a remineralization process begins. Hydroxyapatite particles deposit on the tooth surface and gradually rebuild and strengthen the enamel. When I explain this to patients, essentially what I think about is the tooth has kind of like this woven matrix, right? This is the enamel. And if you can see when it's spread apart, you can kind of see in between my fingertips. And what the remineralization process looks like is the strengthening of that matrix, and it starts to close and protect the microtubules from being overstimulated. And once the tooth has had enough time to essentially rebuild by introducing that hydroxyapatite, what happens is now you don't experience the sensitivity. Now those stimuli can't travel down the dentinotubules and get down to the nerve and affect it. So let's talk about the timeline expectations. There is a gradual building process to remineralizing the tooth. The typical time frame is up to 30 days for noticeable results. It's always possible that things can move faster and sometimes a little slower. It's case by case, but on average, 30 days. And let me give you a pro tip. If you want to speed up the process, what you could do is take something like a night guard or any type of oral appliance that you have, apply a little bit of the paste in it and wear it for hours, or use it as an overnight solution. That prolonged contact time will ensure that the hydroxyapatite has an opportunity to continuously build while the mineral is in contact with the tooth. That's all I have. I hope that this was helpful for you. Sensitivity is not a comfortable thing, and being able to enjoy ice cream, eating hot foods, and sweet things is super important to your lifestyle. Make sure that you use a product that actually works and repairs the problem and doesn't just mask the symptoms. I'm Chris. Thank you to Ali, and thank you to you all for taking the time to learn a little something about tooth sensitivity.